talking about putting building up. I've got a meeting with him on Thursday to discuss what he wants to do. But as far as lot 3, that's off right now. Falk option for purchase for solar. We haven't got anything back from him yet. He was supposed to be here tonight, but we haven't gotten anything yet. So that's on until we get the information from him. Pilot billing update.
We still have 2 projects that haven't paid their town and county and special district taxes yet, but they have until the end of the month. And I have contacted them. They haven't gotten back to me yet.
Okay, any questions? Recapture update, ST62.
Dave, I'm sorry, can we go back? Have we instituted any penalties for being late on pilot payments?
They do get 1% for every month, 1% of what they owe for every month. So right now they're owing 2 months, but it's not an IDA penalty. It's a town and county enforced penalty. So those late fees get passed on. The IDA doesn't.
We did talk about that some time back, about requiring, I'm sorry, I'm distracted a little bit. Well, when you pay the banks, or you pay your mortgage and they take money out for your taxes.
Late fees.
Pardon me?
Late fees.
Escrow.
Thank you very much. I was looking for escrow. But can we, so this, that if they are late, that we start changing the terms and make them give us escrow payments every month?
You could, but you would need to have that written into their pilot agreement from the beginning. Originally. Or, I mean, if they're really behind, you're not paying your taxes, you're in default under the pilot agreement, we won't terminate the pilot because you're in default, but you're gonna agree to this provision. So, I mean, there is a way to force them to do it. There's also an additional penalty under general municipal law that that allows for an additional penalty fee to be charged. That's included in the pilot agreement. The problem with that is we've attempted to assess that in the past, and it's more than what the town and county and schools add on for a late payment. So when we've done it in the past and it was paid, the taxing jurisdictions didn't want to accept it because it didn't line up with the figure. So that's a piece of, I think, a talking point with the taxing jurisdictions for that.
So we can add penalty or not?
Yeah, we can add it by law. We're allowed to, but we need to have a conversation with all the taxing jurisdictions to discuss that, so they will accept it as well.
So we should put that.
It's money to be passed on to the taxing jurisdictions, not to be maintained by the IDA.
I'm not really excited about including penalties, but I would like to use that lever to say, let's do an escrow instead. Because it seems like my short period on this board, it seems like this comes up all the time.
But you're saying no one is currently late, right?
Yeah, 2.
Oh, 2 are currently late.
Same 2 every time.
Well, yeah, but they have till.
March 31st.
Right, so they're not really, they pay the penalty, they're still.
I think
Right.
I think the one that has an escrow arrangement with their own lender, correct?
The 2 that are late, no.
Oh, okay. Because I thought,
I know who you're thinking of.
Yeah, we know who it is.
They've been good. So they've gotten their escrow set up.
okay.
So my question is, should we, the way you said it, I'm thinking more like we take, the pilot does stop and it gets reinstated if they agree to the escrow. I think that makes it a little more strong than just saying, you get to keep your pilot. No, take it right away and it gets reinstated if it's set up in escrow. It's kind of a fine line, but it's a little different.
I think you're gonna, from a paperwork perspective,
You want less paperwork than.
I don't particularly
I
care
just
about
wanted
it.
more legal teeth.
I mean, I think it's the same one or the other, but if you go through the whole termination process, then you've got to redo it.
Okay.
It's not a simple, you're done, you're back, so.
So if we said, when we send our taxes out, if you haven't paid your taxes by this date, we're going to start recapture.
Mhm.
That's something they could do,
Correct.
because they wouldn't want to lose their recapture, because some would be hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Correct. If if they are late, they're technically in default, which allows you to move forward with a recapture. Which is what I'm saying is, you could say, we're gonna move forward with a recapture because you have a late payment. In lieu of that, we will accept escrow payments. But at that point, you're looking for the full payment.
Right, so what is considered late? I mean, if they can pay with just certain penalties till April 1st, or are we on a separate set of rules saying that it has to be paid before February? That's my question.
You can establish the late period, and I think the IDA has they're required to do, like, for instance, town and counties are due the January 31st, right?
Mhm.
So town and counties are due January 31st without penalty. The taxing jurisdictions has the same time frame, but you can get assessed those smaller penalties. And some taxpayers choose to say, well, I'm gonna wait till the 31st. I don't care. I'll pay the penalty. It works out better for me. And I think that's kind of what's happening here.
But if we tell them that if they don't get their payment, we're gonna start recapture,
So that's my question now. Are we worried that they go to April 1st?
they're paying the penalty until April 1st.
Right, so are we worried though that they go till that day? Or are we just trying to prevent it from going beyond that? I'm trying to see what we're.
I think last year that one company was like in June or July before they paid, wasn't it?
Yes.
So,
They're challenging.
So I think if you go after what the taxing jurisdiction days are, if the last day we can collect is April 1st, I think it is.
Mhm.
I think then
Well, no.
that should be our date.
no, we're different.
Well, I know we're different.
It's a
That's
pilot
what I'm-
payment.
Okay,
We
so
can,
that's what I'm trying to
we can
get.
accept after April 1st.
What's that?
Because this isn't a tax assessment. This is a pilot payment. We can accept after April 1st, the payment still comes to us. We'll have to put penalties on it, but it doesn't go into the tax rolls. It goes into the general fund when they receive it. So we could say April 1st, if you're not paid by April 1st, we're gonna start recapture.
Well, but if we want to say we totally have separate rules, we could go with the January 31st date. If that's what we
Yeah,
want to do and to solve all that.
that's what you have said. You do say that. You want it
Okay.
by January 31st.
But we don't put the stick on it. If they haven't paid by January 31st, we're gonna start recapture.
Right,
So
correct.
we should come up with a language to bring before the board to talk about that.
Okay.
Okay?
I don't mind being separate, I just wanted to make sure that we were not coupled to what the town and county is.
So work on that. That'd be a good idea to get done because we've got better things to do than just dial numbers and send emails to get people to pay. So we'll work on making that change. Recapture update, ST62s. Anything else on pilot billing?
So, and one of the things that was in the report, the auditor's report, was about the Public Authorities Budget Office reviewed findings. It was noticed that penalty for delinquent pilot payments was not being calculated correctly. But it appears to have been resolved in 2019, so that continues or will resolve, right?
That goes back to that interest allotment that's set out in general municipal law.
Okay.
And they specifically asked us that in our attorney interview. And we tried to explain what I just explained to you, that there was a discrepancy. There was an issue with the taxing jurisdictions as to how they booked that amount. So I think it's probably something we just need to address with the counties and just to be sure that the payment in the towns and the amounts will be accepted. Because there was confusion when the amount came over and it was more than the payment plus the penalty.
Right, because we levy it, but we don't hold it.
Correct.
Interesting.
And so when we were paying it over to the taxing jurisdiction, they were saying it's too much. So then here we were with, $17, an odd number assessed. So, I mean, that's something we can address too.
Let's work on both those things before we send out our next tax bills, which is village shortly,
Thank you.
April 1st. Okay,
Well, Dave, one more thing. If that's the case, should we should we accept the penalty that's extra instead of it going to the taxing jurisdiction? Should it be separate?
No, the law doesn't allow for
The
that.
thought of that, okay.
So our hammers recapture, all or part.
So recapture is,
Recaptured is. Anything else on that? Recapture ST62, we had no recaptures done in 2019. So I need the board to authorize me to sign that and send it in.
well, should there have been? That's the other question.
If there should have been, there wasn't. There are still we're dealing with, but they're not from 2000,
They're not for
they're
2009.
not for 2019.
Okay, I'll move that.
Okay, moved by Brian, second. Jenny? Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried?
And just for the record, we should go over we should put in the minutes, the 2019 responses.
Correct.
Okay.
So enter in the minutes, the 2019 responses for the ST 340s.
So the 340s we received were from Sandy Hill Vision LLC. They were authorized at $35,000 and they reported exemptions in the amount of $30,261.08. Greenwich Preservation, they are authorized at an amount of $51,408 and they reported exemptions of $25,251.38. Aviation Hospitality was authorized up to $400,000 and they reported $395,756.68. I'm sorry. So they were under Mohawk Industrial Works. They were authorized at $52,500 and they reported $50,949.61. And the last item is Fire Tech sprinkler systems. They're authorized at $40,600. They reported use of exemptions at $40,695.28. So they went over by $95.28, which is $6.67 in sales tax that is due New York State. They understand that they've gone over. They're going to pay that, but we just need an authorization at this meeting to recapture pursuant to the law. Get that, that'll be reported in your next ST62 for when you report in 2010, since the recapture was undertaken in 2010.
So do a resolution for that to recapture the $95 and
The recapture, the use of $95.28, which results in a sales tax exemption of $6.67.
so
Moved by Craig, second by Brian. Further discussion? All in favor?
I,
Carried. You need to update FTEs.
thanks for pulling all this together. So.
The FTEs, I am down to 3 where I'm still waiting on the job counts to be able to complete Paris.
Yes, recapture scares people because I called someone Thursday and said, if you don't get your FTEs to us, we're going to recapture. They got it in what, 5 minutes?
Yeah.
So recapture does get,
Is it just because the time it's taken?
Pardon?
Or is it something you don't have, Ally?
Back in December, I sent out letters that I needed job counts for the end of the year for 2019, and I wanted them by the end of January. And here it is, middle of March, and there's still 3 of them that I haven't received yet. I need that FTE number to put into Paris.
The reason you don't have the 3 is that you have not. got
I'm
the
waiting for
information.
them, and I have contacted them several times. I hear they're working on them. A lot of the stuff they don't do in-house, and so they expect their accountants to do it, and they're waiting on their accountants to provide that information. That's what I'm told. So
we'll follow up with
Can
it.
you get an accountant to do anything right now in tax season?
they've had plenty of time.
A couple of these are must be in-house accountants. They're large enough for that.
Okay.
Okay. Dewatering facility update. think I've told everyone, WL Plastics is up here a couple weeks ago with the two top management staff. Prospective candidates take over, so they're still working forward. They're still waiting for the road to be acquired by the IDA so they can keep moving forward. We can give them durable access. So I did call EPA, like emailed EPL, they turned it EPA. They said that they hope to get I'm glad we have 3 or 4 conversations going on.
No. We're listening diligently.
They're drafting the deed to send to Carrie to review, so she should have it shortly. The other piece of property, little triangle piece, is with Canal Corp. They're working on getting it. However, it doesn't get the time to get, if we get the road turned over to us, like talk to WCC, they will give us a permanent easement around that triangle. So at least they get clear title and get in. So we're working on that. Kara, you have the parcels containing the road acquisition subdivision update.
Yes, I'm pretty much almost done with the application. I have a message into the town's attorney to discuss how they want the application to be presented and if they'll accept it in the form of 1 application but 2 Mylars. The reason being is that we can get the Mylar on for the subdivision at the county level for the WCC properties because the taxes will be paid in full. But with respect to the Fort Edward LPDC, there's too many letters. For the Fort Edward LPDC, that parcel that needs to be subdivided off, the taxes will not be paid at this time, so we won't be able to have that subdivision filed until such time as the WL Plastics project goes through. So I'm working with them to see how they want us to submit the application. So hopefully we can get that in, so we can get on an agenda in April.
Okay, good. Questions?
Does anybody from the IDA need to attend the planning board meeting?
The meeting? Yeah, it'll probably be a good idea to have somebody attend. I don't think it's necessary, but
Do we have a time frame? Do we know when their meeting is? Do we know when WL plans on putting this all together?
Well, WL was waiting for the road.
Right, so that can't happen until,
We can start the subdivision of the roads now.
right,
yeah.
It's not the subdivision of the property we need.
right.
Right, so the road parcel subdivision. So what I'm saying is that the parcels that we're getting from WCC, well, the 1 parcel is standalone, but the other, there's the portion that we need from Fort Edward LPDC. We also need a portion from them. And my question to the planning board is, because it's part of all one project, how are they gonna view this? How do they want us to submit it? Can we submit it as 1 application with 2 Mylars? I just want to be able to submit it right the first time because we have to get the maps done. I just don't want to incur additional costs for the IDA or for anybody else to, reduplicate it. I just want to make sure we're doing it right the first time. So that's my inquiry is. Because then what I'm recommending is that if we can get it approved, we can file the Mylar for the WCC portion and then hold on the Fort Edward LPDC portion and then file that simultaneously.
Spend reason doing the maps.
Yes.
So, okay. All right, all set? Roads and planning. As I said at the executive committee, I can't do everything, so I've asked Craig, and I think he's asked Dan to work on a committee to help with the roads and get some of this stuff ready. We have to come up with a plan. Now we're going to care for the roads, and we'll work with Fort Edward to figure out some of that out in terms of who maintains what part. But we're also going to have to come up with a way to work on the long-term maintenance of the road. So we need to do that. So I got Craig and Dan, I think. Did you talk to you? Or am I surprising you?
I'm kind of surprised I'm earlier tonight here on that.
Okay.
Welcome, Dan.
So I'd like one person from Washington County. Brian, do you want to work on it with them?
Oh, those guys are good. I'll work with them, yeah.
Who won't you work with?
Those other guys.
I won't say you said that, Al. The second thing I asked was for Mr. Biddle to take care of
Your watch then.
sales and marketing. I don't have anything on my watch thing.
So would you like to have a recommendation for the committee, sir?
Yes, you're gonna put one person on two committees, two people on two committees?
I'm not sure what you're talking about, but that's
So
okay.
sales and marketing,
Mhm.
you would like Caimano,
Yeah,
headed by Biddle.
Yeah.
You'd also like Campbell and Bruno.
yes.
Okay, that's up to them.
Double cut.
Good. Okay. And there will be other things coming up, but I just want to get these things going. We're gonna have to do a permit easement for not only WL Plastics, but probably other people in there now. But we have to figure out how we're gonna do the maintenance road. So if we need to figure it out, we have a plan that we do at the same time as the permit easement. So it'll be contingent on the permit easement, contingent on working on the MOU for the road maintenance. Yes, Brian?
Well, we've been talking about feasibility study, and I just want to tie this all in at the moment because we don't know time, and all that, and what it's gonna, what all is gonna be involved. But I mentioned to Dave, there's a certain amount of property between to the north, between WCC Canal Corp, property towards 196, that's owned individually, but it's along the road and it still could be part of the feasibility study. And two of the parcels are actually in the opportunity zone, still in Fort Edward. So I would like to make sure that we get letters to them, when we figure out what they should say, to get those people included, because I don't want it to be that it's just us and WCC. That's not what this is all about. This is a community thing. Everybody along this development area should be included. I don't want them left out. And so I want to be able to move forward and send letters at the appropriate time saying, you know, we'd like you to be included. And if you want to be included, you've got to step to the plate now, because the opportunities that come later, or if you're involved for the feasibility study, we don't want to have the feasibility study done and them left out. I guess that's what I'm at.
So
Just bringing it to light for everyone at this point.
Good point.
I want you to help me with railroads, Bruce.
Okay.
We're gonna start having conversations with Momentum and SMS about utilization of property down there. I think you know a little more about railroads than I do.
Been at it a while.
Yeah.
We're tax exempt, so.
Smart man.
So which railroad issue are you talking about here?
Well, there's two. SMS Rail is the one that is doing the
The guy-
grain
Right?
facility bringing in. They're looking at expanding. We're gonna have to make sure we have an agreement with them for rental of the property. As well as Momentum is gonna look to store rail cars and different things on there.
That's not the same people?
Not the same people, two different companies.
This won't
They
be,
they wanna store, in this case,
not oil cars.
not oil cars, propane cars.
Oh,
So-
kaboom.
So that's one thing they're looking at. I don't know that for sure. That's all I've heard, but there may be other types of cars they want to store too.
That could raise local interest now. I'm really,
Yeah, go.
we're storing cars from the company in Vermont that makes this, the limestone slurry. I've got, you see them all over. And what else do we have? We have locomotives now that came from Warren County. They got kicked out of Warren.
So working
We're
on
always looking for cars as a revenue source.
And where's that at?
Hmm?
Which line's that at?
Northeast Rail.
But that's not over here, that's,
No, I talk about our experience is with storing cars. We had a couple of hundred a few years ago that
But you're saying Northeast Rail still wants to store cars, is that what you're saying?
Well, it's really handled by Backkill.
Okay.
It's on our track.
Okay.
Now I have a nice caboose that came from Warren County. Thank you.
I don't think that went through.
So,
No, the supervisors, didn't accept that bid proposal from Whitehall.
They didn't?
They did not.
Now, the guy that owns the caboose that we have in Salem now, he wanted it.
Yeah.
He's gonna open it up, and so was he next to, what's his name?
We've decided we're gonna hold on to it for a little while.
It's still tied to septic and water at Thurman and sort of a permanent installation there.
The other caboose that we have, one of those cabooses was an ice cream sale.
Yep.
And that's how he met his wife, I think.
ice cream place?
Wow.
But,
You never can tell.
North Country Love.
Yeah.
but they
One on
have,
the Adirondack Pacific.
but they have a boat rental on Saratoga Lake now.
Mhm.
So he's sort of in,
Anything else on that?
Rock and roll.
We better move on.
I've had a long-standing agreement with the gentleman from, represents, D.A. Collins,
Mhm.
to go and meet with the railroad guy there and talk to him, but I think between the virus and the weather, I haven't made it. So if you have something you want,
Yeah, we got to pick those meetings together and start on it, so
if you got a meeting, I'll try to go to that.
Okay. we can do it together. So that's it for now, there's more coming. Anything else under old business?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Member?
do we need to reappoint the Finance and Audit Committee every year?
Already been done.
Already been done? Okay.
We've
Thank you.
done our annual meeting.
Thank you for your magic.
Okay. Environmental phase 1 report was completed on the dewatering facility. That's up online. It was too big to send out, so it's up online if you want to read it. It's 500 and some odd pages. Enjoy yourself.
Was it good?
I got about 10 pages in and fell asleep. That's to answer your question. No, it's pretty good. It's pretty detailed.
It's like an IDA meeting.
Ally, annual report review.
Is that for the Paris?
Pardon?
I sent it to you guys for review. Like I said, I'm missing some job counts.
The only thing that stood out to me on Paris was term of expiration or expiration date for members, and it was put out pleasure of the authority. I think Warren County might have expiration dates on our terms.
Their annual appointments, until their annual appointments, you're correct.
Okay.
We determine that way because we don't make the appointments. And that's under Warren County's and Washington County's purview. So we stated that way because the authority is taking care of that, not us.
Okay, so it's a pleasure of the authority.
Yes. Yes. Should probably read pleasure of the appointing authority.
In light of that, is Warren County gonna have a different guideline in how they appoint people than Washington County? I mean, I think we do it the same now, but you guys are reviewing it, so will that make it that we are doing it in different ways?
I don't think it would matter.
Well, I don't know if it were not, it's according to how we're set up.
So for decades, it's been, the chairman has been the appointing authority from both counties. And now I don't know, I know it's,
suspect that Warren County will make some modifications the way we do that.
so,
And that won't affect, we don't have to be the same, that's what I'm trying to understand.
All counties have to adopt the same.
same people, but we don't have to do it the same way.
I know we have to both adopt them, but do we have to adopt them the same way? That's my question.
That's by the county's purview, not ours.
It's according to legal status.
The statute doesn't.
I don't know, I probably don't even hear the members of Warren County refuse to appoint the Washington County appointee
Mhm.
and kept him off the IDA. But
Mhm.
I am the only one that remembers.
Who's that?
Ken Wheeler.
Okay.
Warren Connor refused to approve him, and so he came off and somebody else.
We had to put someone else on. That's very interesting.
Okay. Audit report review. Anyone see anything in there?
Yes, I do. Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Biddle.
on page 3, agency highlights, it stated that Greenwich Preservation Group LLC had a project opening in 2019. Is that at the beginning of the project or is that the end of the project?
I defer to Kara because I think it's when they sign the paperwork. Or is it when they open or what? I
I
don't
just
know.
wanted to be clear on that, sir.
Let's see, and then I don't know the date of it.
Thank you.
Well, they were originally appointed in August of 2018.
Correct.
I would have to see, they probably got their sales tax before we closed on the paperwork. I want to say we closed right at the beginning of 2019, so their pilot went on before March 1st. That's how I recall it, but let me double check.
I just recall seeing Mr. Wade at the Washington County Fair in August of 2018 saying he had it approved at that point.
Correct, it was approved, but he didn't close on it until 2019.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. I'll get the exact date for you though.
Good catch. So any other questions? No, the process is the Audit and Finance Committee has to get together, review these, approve them, send them to the full board.
Correct.
Thank you. So we're gonna be late unless we have a special meeting.
Well, when did I receive this?
When did we receive it?
When did we receive this?
I don't remember.
So it's not only this that we have to approve, the Finance and Audit Committee also has to approve the Paris numbers.
Yep.
And then also the P&L.
Yeah.
So and once we have all those together, we can get together as a Finance and Audit Committee and look through and get it done correctly.
And then-
Allie's doing a great job getting all the pieces together. And I read the entire WDR document and gotta give them praise as well. They did a great job putting this together.
They always do.
Yep.
And at that same meeting, hopefully have the recapture numbers ready for that company we have to review. Make a determination on.
I anticipate in late March or early April that we can have
Okay.
everything together and then present to the board. So we will be past due on our Paris reporting for the budget board.
Not as late as last year.
Correct. And that's fine. The ABO's guidance is do it right as opposed to doing it on time and doing it wrong.
Are any of us going to go to prison?
We didn't last
Mr.
year.
Leggett, Mr. Leggett is, that's
The
it.
vice chair is the one we always got for that. If someone has to go.
Campbell and I drew straws and you drew the short straw.
Okay. Executive Park meeting. I want to move that from April 1st to April 8th. The reason is that our full board meeting isn't until like the third Monday, and I thought 3 weeks in between Executive Park and another is a little too long. So we'll just do it between April 8th. So I need a motion to move that from April 1st to April 8th, please.
So moved.
Ryan, second by
Second.
Craig. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried? Yes?
No,
Okay,
I mean, you can move it, I won't be there.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, oh.
Probably been the first year.
No, that one I would have been.
Oh.
Should we think about doing these things remotely?
Oh, that's my next item.
Sorry for jumping the gun.
So we'll make sure that Mr. Biddle can attend because we will be doing this remotely.
Can I do 2 meetings at once? If that's the case, then I'm in.
Sure you can.
Okay. You couldn't.
You're good. So-
That's why he's practicing tonight, talking
Yeah.
to me while the meeting's going on. He wants to be able to do 2 at once.
So we will be doing remote call-ins because we're not supposed to have gatherings more than when we don't have to.
Now
So,
10 on my way over.
Yes.
so it's 10, but be safe. Let's do it remotely. You can dial in. The governor has eased the requirement to have video, so we can do it on phone for now. So we'll do that. We'll set up remotely. We'll set up a call-in number and send it out to everyone, and that way we can participate and not break the governor's heart.
Do you need to have a video for open meetings law?
No, he's waived that.
He's waived the
He's waived
requirement.
that.
So you can video conference or call in. The mechanism to get into the call needs to be made available to the public. So if you're going to do it by conference call, then that call-in number plus the sign-in code needs to be available to the public as well.
Plus, we'll be streaming video anyways. So if you want to watch it, I mean, I can try and set up GoToMeeting if you want. We can try that, but if you can't do GoToMeeting, we can't have the capability of doing phones. Some people like the banks, some of the banks won't allow video chats, so they can't do that. So,
But you don't all have to convene.
no,
So what are you gonna stream?
we're streaming every meeting we
I
have.
understand, but if we're all remote. what are you
But
gonna stream?
The
how,
phone.
how are you able to stream? Oh, so you're just saying we'll stream in on, only do stream.
We have to stream in
And then
anyway.
somebody will be, I see.
Correct.
Chances of me getting that heat were pretty slim.
No, but you do phone, so we'll figure it out. We'll have both methods available somehow.
We can do it FaceTime? No.
Well, everybody needs to be able to participate. So you need to be able to participate in the meeting. I think this current, I don't know if people can participate from the current
I'll probably have to.
web.
We'll figure out how to do it.
There
But a
is,
certain amount will be here or can be here or no?
We could possibly have people in, yes. We can't do it at CARES office. They said there's certain people they don't want in there, and
Well, I understand.
I guess we made the list.
That was before COVID.
I understand that.
So this is their excuse, finally. So we'll figure it out. We got 3 weeks to figure it out. We'll figure it out and set it up. Okay? Anything else come before the board? Dennis, did you want to say something?
Yes, I tried to make, I'm Dennis Kelly, I live on County Line Road, just north of the phase 2 of the airport industrial park. I've been watching everything through social media on the wetlands. On the note on the wetlands, I know you're looking at as it expands and everything. And by the way, I do the brush hogging on phase 2. That has expanded drastically, not only on IDA property, but also on my property. Is approximately 3.5, 4 feet deep, right over a fence of mine. So on my side, I'm losing land as we go along because it's hydraulically going right underneath the berm that they fixed probably, Bruce, what was it, probably 6 years ago?
Yeah, something like that.
So
We tried to
when
take
you
care
look,
of it then, but
when you look at that study of how big it's getting and everything, can you also look at how it affects the neighbors? How the draining is not working? That's one phase if I can be included in that. So because it's really impacting on my side of the fence. And we have water now that's a lot wider than it's ever been. So the other note I had was in regards to the solar panels. In regard, is that, I'm not sure where exactly they're going. Are they going in where the property was logged?
Yes.
Yes, that's where, well, yes and no. What their proposal is, right behind Equistack, there's like 6 lots going back. That's the area where they want to put the solar panels. In the future, they may want to extend back down that other side, but right now, they're not talking about that, Dennis, right now, but, as you all know, we've tried to market that property for years and just, it's
Okay.
been, in the law, actually, logging made it worse.
Exactly. in the little tidbit of that information on that property went for taxes, I want to say 20, 25 years ago. Some of the local residents bid on that property, and I think the high bid from the residents was roughly 28,000, and the IDA came in with 50,000, almost double what everyone bid on that property. So my feeling is that if the IDA came in and took it away from the tax rolls, they should be marketing that property for your mission statement, which is creating jobs. If that property is not suitable for that, then it should be back up to auction. Because what you're doing is you're actually turning it around and you're becoming real estate guys. And that's not the intention of the IDA. That being said, there's plenty of lots in there. If there was a road, maybe it would be more marketable. Some of the lots now are so wet in there that you'll never be able to do anything. The 50,000, you guys already have gotten that 50,000 back, just with the 3 businesses that are in there.
We actually, Connell from the Army Corps of Engineers went in and looked at it, and he wasn't too hopeful that much could be done with that property in terms of doing it. That's why we're getting the delineation done. And we actually don't propose doing a full delineation of that property. What we're asking for is her initial walkthrough is to go back through that property, see if she thinks it's worthwhile doing a full delineation. I do know that I didn't get quite that far when I walked there, but there was one area where there was a brook that hit into a stone wall, and the stone wall was backing all the water up. Actually, John Connell is one that discovered that and told us about that. So do you know that area or not?
The piece that goes all the way around the dam? Yeah, that's kind of a narrow piece and it's sloped. It's really not suitable. I knew when the IDA bought it 25 years ago or so that wasn't going to be usable. Yeah. Then a few years ago, you guys went in and stripped it of trees and everything. And that was, they called it selective at that time. Selective cutting, which they cut every tree almost on it. It wasn't a good choice because now that erosion and everything else, you can't even brush hog it because of the stumps are in there.
Yep.
At that point, it wasn't a very good choice, but that was my feeling on the solar panels, that you really shouldn't be pushing towards that, because you could really fill the whole rest of the park with solar panels if you wanted to. But that's not really what the mission is.
I understand it's not the mission. I think I wish Tom Jarrett was here, Bruce might remember. We've had several come look at that piece of property and all said, no, too much work to do it. And when we looked at it to think about putting in the infrastructure, it was like $50,000. I don't remember the number. It was like $500,000 to put the infrastructure in there. And the return we get, just wouldn't be worthwhile. So yes, we have looked in different ways. The benefit, if you can see one of putting solar in there, is then that goes back on the tax rolls. And they'll have to pay the base tax for that property to Kingsbury. So that would be a benefit. So it would get back on the tax rolls, and we currently pay ad valorem taxes on that property for the sewer district in Kingsbury. So there are some taxes coming on it, but if we can get the real estate taxes back on it at what its assessed value is, that would be a benefit to the entire community. So.
The other aspect of it is, and I was hoping that he'd be here today, Mr. Kenyon's number 3 lot. That again is, how many jobs is that going to create with selling that lot as opposed to selling it for a building? Building, for instance, like M&S Machine, they're creating, 20 jobs on the same property, on the same footprint. I see his predicament, and I gave him some suggestions in regards to where J. Bowe was going to buy. That piece is pretty much useless because nobody's gonna wanna be in behind those buildings.
So I think they bought, we sold it to Glen Falls Labels, right? I think that lot where mold was gonna go, I think, Glen Falls Labels.
You might wanna update your map, online.
I'm not, I remember
So-
maybe,
That's,
and if that's, for what it's worth, which is nothing, I voted no once, it was on that, selling that lot 3. But it was too late, the executive committee had already made the deal with everybody.
that's the main thoroughfare through there?
That's a main thoroughfare, it's a, we were certified by the state as shovel-ready in that park, and it's, nowhere should that have been turned into a parking lot for trucks. But you guys did it, and I figured it might be now, or it may not be.
Nope,
Okay.
nope.
Sometimes things work out for the best.
Right, so the way I was thinking of it is when the repo company wants more land to put a parking lot on, you guys can say no to them.
They're a member of the park, and I think that was the reason why we decided, we thought about it and reacted positively to it, because they already have a piece of property and they
Right?
already have a going business, and then we're
But
trying to
you
help
see
them
what
out.
I'm saying, the repo company also is in the park.
Yeah.
And if they wanted more parking lot space, park vehicles,
Oh, I got it.
You guys
I
could
was thinking different company.
you couldn't have said no.
They're in phase 1 and they took over our
Yeah, that's where Kenyon is, phase 1. So those are my thoughts on this. I wanted to come last month, but the snow slowed me up a little bit.
Can I ask another question? Did we advertise yet for the mowing for this year? Go to bid?
I thought we had 3 years on
Or
it,
do
did
you
we?
have-
I was just gonna say, there's another year under
Third year.
contract.
Okay, so you're covered for this year. Okay,
I believe.
I think so too.
okay, good.
Okay. Ryan?
On the water level on your property, is that because it's spring or will that not go down at all? Is that,
No, what had happened was, they put the berm up across our ditch. Soil and Water put our ditch in from one end of the farm to the other. And then to create more wetlands in the IDA, phase 2, they put a berm across that. Well, when they put a berm across it to back up the water, it just kept going out wider and wider and wider. And then so much water was going around it, they repaired, it was going under it, so they repaired it again, and made it even wider. So what's happening is now it's going, I would say, probably 800 feet. And it's a foot deep on that side of the fence, and my side, the water's going right up out of the ground.
So Dennis, that was all originally wetlands, wasn't it?
No,
It wasn't?
no, none of it was, actually.
Hmm.
Yeah. Soil and Water came in there, and I actually had Soil and Water stop up to say, what can I do with the water? Why is this? And they told me to clean my ditch out because the grass isn't doing anything. I thought maybe the grass would suck up some of the water. So the flow out of phase 2 has just increased. I mean, it's 3 foot deep on the other side of the fence.
Yeah, Tom Jarrett was surprised. He thought that the delineation where it was good for 20 years. Actually, delineation is only good for 5 years. You have to have it done every 5 years. We were surprised that had to be done, so.
Yeah, that has creeped up, actually in lot number 3. That is really far up, because it actually goes towards that corner. That corner piece, it always runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Craig?
Yeah, so it looks like you've got a whole drainage going right north to south of your property there anyway.
No, it goes north.
Goes north, well, but as opposed to going east, west,
Right.
it cuts up through your property.
Yep.
There. Anyway, so.
And it always has.
Yeah, you'd just say that's deeper than ever before.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, it used to be maybe 1.5 foot wide. Now it's probably 10 feet wide.
well, it's quite a change.
So that's part of the issues are, and it's not like the water's backing up on my side, it's just the volume of water is just, the higher they made the berm, the deeper the water got on that side, the more water came underneath it. That's, that's kind of been an issue. And I have to keep coming back, probably 15, 20 feet from the property line, when I till that, because I can't even in the middle of summer, can't even go through it. And partway up towards my house, I mean, there's sinkholes in there now that were never there. So when you look at that whole plan of what's happening,
I'll make sure she does. Because wasn't some of that center acres is an offset for some of the work that was done at the airport?
yes, correct. I used to bale hay on all that wetland.
So we sold rights to the wetland, certified wetland to Warren County. Warren County wrote us a check, or the airport did.
So blame it on Warren County. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but I would, there's also like a wooden dam across the street from EchoStack that maybe should be taken out or let the water drain.
Well, the problem is that water that goes that way goes on to Jim Gerard's pond.
Yeah.
They're all full.
Well,
So that's
it's
catch basin for the water coming off the park is
Water's-
full.
It's coming from.
Mhm.
But I really lean pretty heavy on Mr. Jarrett.
So if you could just kind of keep me in the loop, if you would, on,
I'll give her your
how big
name.
this is.
I think I have your number here someplace. I'll give her your name and number and she can contact you.
Okay,
You know Deb Roberts?
yep,
Okay,
yep, she's been in there since.
okay, good. Thanks for coming, Dennis. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anything else? So I do want to say that I think that if we look at what we've been doing over the past couple of years, we've talked about it, but especially talking to Sales and Marketing Committee, we really need to get that going because we need to bring more, we need to help more businesses. And I think right now there's going to be opportunity to help businesses in different ways, especially as we come through this timeframe. So I don't know what we can do, but we should be active in getting out to members of HCC and other members of the community about these services we can offer to help people. We haven't been as proactive as we should have been in the past, but I think we need to ramp that up. And I think a few of us here recognize that, but now it's time to do something about it. Okay? We're only as good as the cash flow coming in.
And we got cash.
Goes fast, Bruce. So, any other questions or issues? Motion to adjourn? Adjourned by Bruce. Do I have a second?
Yeah.
Brian? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Oh, come on, this has been a short meeting today.
It's been great.
Yeah, keep moving.
Good job, Kara and Ally.
We got another one.
Oh, CDC meeting, call the CDC meeting to order. Could I have the,
Motion to approve the minutes.
motion approved, well, you need roll call.
Oh, yeah.
Craig Leggett.
Here.
Michael Biddle.
Here.
Bruce Ferguson.
Here.
Ginny Sullivan.
Here.
Mike Wild.
Here.
Dan Bruno.
Here.
Brian Campbell.
Here.
Dave O'Brien.
Here. Motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting
So moved.
by Bruce. Do I have a second?
Yes.
Brian? All in favor?
Aye.
Need a motion to pay the current accounts payable of $100.
Move it.
Moved by Brian, roll call. Do I have a second?
Second.
Bruce, roll call.
Craig Leggett.
Yes.
Michael Biddle.
Yes.
Bruce Ferguson.
Yes.
Ginny Sullivan. Mike Wild.
Yes.
Dan Bruno.
Yes.
Brian Campbell.
Yes.
Dave O'Brien.
Yes. Okay. Motion adjourned.
Here.
Yes.
Second by Mr. Campbell. All in favor? Done. Thank you, gentle people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll let you know the format and time and contact. So I got a question for you.
Go away.
When I get filed,
What happened to his
base assessment.
No idea.
You
wanna write it down?
Years assessment.
No, it should say the
No,
same.
no. it's not
Well, you
that.
gotta stay away.
Come here, give me a hug.
Stay away.
Give me a hug, Bruce.
Yeah.